Wow, this is really tricky looking. We're gonna be making a heaven theme. I've got my headphones plugged into the laptop, face down on the table in defense position so I can't hear anything. Start this timer. My instinct says, let's take the piano and let's make something that's ascending. First, let me get a feel for the tempo. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe slower. Look at the cheat sheet. So piano, good and highish from C5. So I want it to be high, so let's start on D5 maybe, and go up. So I'm gonna take this, and then start one lower maybe, and end on a C sharp. I'm actually gonna keep this idea going. And maybe we're doing like a less of a steep mountain. We have our first pattern for heaven theme. Let's try and find some notes of these to put on the chord pad. Where does that sound good? Be the ruler of a high or low. Let's do very spacious chords. So maybe something like that. And I think a very repetitive scheme on the chords is just fine. Let's actually make this one long. And this one can go down here. Maybe E down here. Yeah. That should be okay. And I think to start with, maybe some very slow boota-tita, boota-tita. We got our C3, which is our kick. D3 is snare. D4 is hi-hat. And it should be like that. Dun-dun. And we'll add some variation over here. Control Z that. Some more variation. Boota-ta-ta. Boota-la. That should be good. Let's just randomize the velocity. So that's our drum pattern. We got piano, we got chords, we got our drums, and then we clone this. I think we're gonna wait on the bass a little bit. So the bass is gonna come in a little bit later and make it more impactful. Maybe it'll come in at the same time as the electric guitar. Let's take a look at the low strings. What do I have for notes there? To see where I want them to go, I'm actually going to take this chord thing, drop it down here. We draw along these notes. C3 to C5 on the low strings. I think we can get something going with quarter notes. What's the tempo like again? Boom, 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 boom. Do-da-da-da. Maybe something like that. Let's take this note. So that's an A. Drop it down. That's F sharp. A. I'll stick within here, so boo da da da. I want it to not go to the octave, so I'm gonna have it go to the B. And contrary to how the piano is doing things, I'm just gonna have this keep going up. Okay, let's do open hats on the last note to really differentiate it from the first pattern. Well, first we want a cymbal crash, so G6, G. Open hat is on G4, and we'll just go like that, replacing these closed hats with open hats. And now I think we're really ready. Let's add some toms actually. F5 to C6. I always do this one where it's like ba-dum, ba-da-boom. Right, and something like that. Let's drop that in there. Let's clone that. Man, time flies when you're making music. Let's rename these to make it easy to see which one I'm cloning. We added low strings and changed up the drums. So what I'm gonna do here is I want to keep the drums the same. So now here we're gonna add our guitar and our bass. First, let's do the bass, and this is key of D. So why not start on a D? Maybe it'll sound interesting and weird if we do something like this. And I know we're gonna have to change the starting note. Maybe a B here. Boop, boop, ba. I think that'll be cool. Now, the interesting thing is, we're coming up with a melody while not clashing with any of this. So what's the range of our electric guitar? C4 to E6. So E6 is its top. Probably in this range is where we want to be, between C5 and C6. And our goal is to have some fun and not to let it crowd. We're avoiding crowding by keeping it high. We've got boo do 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 do, and we have boo do do. Yeah, I think we want to do kind of long rhythmic melody on the guitar between C5 and C6. So let's start on this note. Ba, 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 ba. I think we want to copy the first thing, copy the second thing, basically. And we turn this down to C sharp. And now we sort of mirror this, follow an idea like we did over here, but we lower it down to this note. I have a feeling F sharp is the move. Boom, 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 boom. I feel like it's flowing, sort of like you might expect Heaven to. We have to do some sort of reprieve on pattern 3. You know, one thing we can do is we can take the low strings and hit some staccatos. And what I want to do is just very simply go like that. There's a velocity issue, but first we can finish this. I'm gonna Control A and fix the velocity. But yeah, let's go here. Let's fix this all up. And now the issue is solved. We had ba 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 ba. Let's double check again. What note did the electric guitar end on? Something's weird about the guitar, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm just going to do some volume automation, and at the end we'll just let it fade off. Add a cymbal crash to the end of each section. Yeah, I actually want that fill to be in every single pattern after the first one. So, you know, the toms fill. So I'm actually going to copy this. Alright, that's time. I guess there's nothing left to it but to listen to what we've got, and hopefully I didn't make any glaring mistakes that had you yelling at me from your seats. Alright, we're ready to take a listen. I'm putting my headphones on. Oh man, and I guess there's nothing to it but to play. I'm a little bit anxious because I don't know how this is going to turn out, but hopefully it's not atrocious. I'm excited, so let's get to it. Oh man, that was something. At the start, I really liked it. Really, really much. I liked how the piano did its thing. I thought this was really funny, though. It sounds like some kind of, I don't know, cowboy toy or something like that. Pulled the pin on this horse and he's going like, me, 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 me. I think the low strings, oh, they made it sound so beautiful. There were wrong notes though. Electric guitar over here was so, so nice. I think this rhythm is the downfall. It just wasn't exactly, you know, it kind of ruined the vibe a bit. It was like too antsy, too rigid. I think, you know, when you think about a Heaven theme, it's meant to be a little bit flowing and ethereal. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And also, give me some ideas for themes. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice perchance.